Chodan Singh versus the Municipal Corporation of Delhi. So I do believe that while we are as judges of the Supreme Court, we owe a great debt of gratitude to where we come from. Because can the river, can the rivulet, can the stream ever rise above the source? So I believe I'm just a stream coming from this great source of the Supreme Court bar of the Indian bar, which I have greatly learned from and continue to learn every day of my life. Every day that you are a judge of the Supreme Court, you are constantly reminded of how vast the field of knowledge is. And in that sense, how much more there is to learn. Because you realize that no two cases are the same, so it's very difficult for a judge to believe that you know everything about a case or everything about a subject. Even if you have done 10 cases on the subject, there comes the 11th case which surprises you that you probably had made a very wrong assumption about the case. So I believe that much of the work which we do, or all of the work which we do, is a collaborative effort between the bar and the bench. When I was about to become a judge of the Bombay High Court, and a little reluctant to do that, in fact, I had walked up to Chief Justice Y.K. Sabharwal to tell him that, well, it had taken almost 3 years for my appointment to come. My late former wife was suffering from cancer, and we didn't know which way we were going. And I told him that, would you give me the liberty to now take my own freedom and leave the course of action which you have chalked for me? And he said, well, wait for a few months. But what really has been a part of my journey is this feeling of constantly being guided by others who are at the bar, of constantly being guided and shaped by others on the bench. And I think it's the same feeling which continues with me even today on the Supreme Court. I do believe that the Chief Justice of India, and for that matter any Chief Justice, even of the High Court, is what is called in Latin as primus inter pares. Primus inter pares, very simply put, means first amongst equals. My deep belief, watching Chief Justices in the Bombay High Court, being a Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court for almost 3 years, is that first and foremost a Chief Justice is a judge. You can never forget the fact that you are a judge. And I believe that Chief Justices are either respected or they're not respected based on whether or not you do your basic function as a judge. There's an enormous amount of administrative work which you have to do as a Chief Justice. And I've been constantly told over the last few days that, well, cut down on the judicial work which you do and your propensity to cross time only because you need to focus on administrative work. But I do believe that it's your judicial work which is the most fulfilling aspect of your life, and that's something which there can be no making compromises on. And that's the way I believe I intend to chart my course for the next 2 years. Having said that, I think it's important for me to realize that the office which I hold is an office which I hold in trust. It's an office which I hold in trust for society, for our citizens. And I do believe that each of my colleagues with whom I collaborate every day are as good or better than me. And their experiences of life are as good or better than mine. And therefore, I would be looking at my own colleagues to give me the weight of their experience. The judges of the Supreme Court who are drawn from the high courts bring to their work years and years of experience as judges, as Chief Justices of the High Court. And their collective experience and wisdom is something which we in the Supreme Court have traditionally not tapped. And that's one of the grievances, that's one of the critiques of many of our colleagues. And I believe I have to change that and depend more on my colleagues, draw out their experiences, because that experience will contribute to strengthening the institution.